Hey guys, it's good to see you once again here on my Crafter's Companion YouTube channel. It's lovely to have your company, and yeah, it's been a little bit of a while. It's been a wee while. We have got, I'm just going to mute you for a second and I'll tell you why in a sec. My certain device decided just to go a little bit louder there, so I just had to put her down a couple of notches on the volume there, just so it doesn't catch out here on YouTube and they knock me off because of the music in the background. So yeah, I think that's it sorted now, and it's low enough. Yes, it's lovely to have your company here. As I was saying there, it's been a little while since I've done a tutorial, just all go with Crafters TV and Hobbymaker and getting prep done and all that sort of stuff. So here today I am filming this on my day off. I'm nice and relaxed, it's chilled, I've done a bit of tidying, I've been round to the shop, I've got a few bits and pieces, and now we can just sit. And then we can craft. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be using old and new, as I love to do. Some new, in fact, that it has not launched yet on Crafters TV and Hobbymaker. So let's go from up above, because then I can show you exactly what we're going to be using. We're going to be using our ribbon threading die. So we're going to use the circle ribbon frame. Now, for this one, I'm not actually going to do any ribbon threading. I'm just using it as a decorative layer. We're going to do a backdrop using the Sunbeam, and this is from our Spring Fairy collection. So we're going to use that. What we're also going to use, which is new, and some of you have got it from HSN and QVC, those of you that are waiting for this to come from Crafters TV and Hobbymaker, that is our Floral Creations. We're going to be using them as well. So we've got our new, we've got our old, and our embossing folder that we're going to be using, which is old as well, is an older one. We've got our scattered dots here. So this is from a previous Sarah's Signature collection, well before my time as well, being the scattered dots. It's 6x6 and it is 2D folder. We're also going to use some of our nesting dies from our layout collection, and I think that is about it. I think that's pretty much kind of the main parts as to what we're going to be using. I'm going to do it onto, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to use our textured paper pads. So we're going to use our neutrals, we're going to use some greys, and then my absolute favourite, of course, this one being the pastel, and we're going to go for the yellows. So we're going to do yellow and grey. Because we're doing yellow and grey, I'm going to do, I don't know why I've got an ivory card blank, I need a white card blank. And we'll do it 7x7, I might chop it down to 6x6 or 6.5 by 6.5. I'll decide that as and when we go. So let me just, I'm going to move my iPad to the side here, and yeah, I think that is us pretty much got all the main elements that we're going to be using. I do have a bit of watercolor card because we're going to use the Sunbeam when it comes to things such as the backdrop. We're not doing anything water-based. Love that bit of a texture using that Sunbeam from, of course, the pigment ink pad from the Spring Fairy. So I think that's pretty much all the main items that we're going to be using when it comes to this collection. So as always, as I always like to say, a massive thank you to everyone that continues to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also to those that hits that bell notification so you get alerted whenever I post a tutorial. It really is appreciated. And then of course, for those of you that take the time to give me the thumbs up and then also comment as well, it's much appreciated. Since our last time, Debbie Robinson has got a YouTube channel, so you can head across to Debbie Robinson's. What I'll do do when it comes to the description of this video, I'll put a link to Debbie's YouTube channel, so you can go across there. I know as it stands at the moment, she does have a video, a tutorial up for you to go and check out. So Debbie Robinson, have a look, cross on YouTube. But as I say, I will put the link in the description for you to check out. Any of these items that we've got in stock, like I say, the ribbon thread and dies we don't have in stock, the folder we don't have in stock, but any bits and pieces that we do have in stock, I'll add a link within the description, and of course all the additional items I'll let you know as well within the description, but they're all from Sticks 2. So I think that's really it. That's about it. I think we can pretty much just get started, and we can then crack on with this card. This card, we're just going to use it with a lovely yellow and grey colour. I'm going to use that smile die that's in the ribbon thread and dies. This would be a really lovely one, I'm thinking, by the end result of a unisex card for a baby. If you don't know the sex of the baby, then yellows and ivories, these are always two really good generic colours to be using. You know, if you don't know it's a girl, you're not going to do blue. If you don't know it's a girl and you don't know it's a boy, then the yellows are the best one to do. Of course, if you do know the sex of the baby and you're going to use this as a baby card, then of course you can use your pinks and your blues, whatever colours that you want. So, that being said, let's get stuck in, and I'm going to move these bits out the way for now because I don't need them just yet. I'm going to let's start with our background here. So I've got my watercolor card, and I'm going to cut this to 5. So if I do 5 1/4 into right, I'm going to do 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So again, this is watercolor card. What I'm away to do here, you can absolutely do on your white smooth cardstock, because I'm not doing anything water based, but I just like to have that little bit of a texture, and some of it is going to be covered up anyway, so you know you don't need to worry so much. Let's go in with the Sunbeam, and let's really layer up the edge. Well, I say the edges. I'm going to come in a little bit further than the edges. I'm not worried about too much about the centre, because we're going to cover that part when it comes to things such as the ribbon thread and circle dies. So I don't need to worry about coming all the way into the centre, because it's not going to be seen. So we're just going to get that sunbeam in, that beautiful sunbeam that you can see here, that pearlescent shimmer. It's absolutely gorgeous. It really is. So we're just going to ink up our applicator, and we're just going to then work our way all the way around here. So we're just going to apply that onto the card and then work it in and blend it in, so we get a really lovely smooth layer and application. So let's go around. You know, if you wanted to, you can then use your embossing powders. I don't tend to use my embossing powders with my shimmer ink pads. You know, you'll still see the shimmer through the emboss if it's a clear embossing powder, but I think it dulls it down quite a bit. So I don't tend to use embossing powders with my shimmer ink pads, but you can absolutely do that if you so wish. So work our way round, just make sure we've got a nice smooth layer, which I am happy with that. We can actually see that bit of the shimmer coming through. So let's go in just a little bit closer for you. And then there, we can just start to see that shimmer. So let's move that out of the way. Actually, what I will do, because I know it's a question that gets asked quite a lot and I've not done it yet, my blending pad, I've just got my hook and loops. So this one is that's the loop. That's the smooth side. I don't want that. I want the hook. I want the rough ones, which I've got here. So I'm just going to take one of these, and then I'm just going to pop that onto the back. That can go there, and now I've got my same ink pad whenever I need it, whenever I want it, underneath. So let's take and move that all out the way, and then let me give that a little bit of a clean. Just wipe that up and clean that up, and we can then just run this straight through. I really need to give my glass mat a proper clean, but I can do that another day. What I'll do just now is let's go in and take some yellow. So I'm going to use the linen yellow. So that's that one. And so if I got any, oh there we go, there's an off bit as well. I can use that to die cut some of the flowers if I need. Any other off bits of yellow? Nope. I've got my yellow, so I can move that out the way. And then I'm going to look for that grey at the back. I'm going to use that one. Like so. So that one will do. So the same shade, might be able to use that up. And there we go. I've got my grey and I've got my yellow. So I can move them off my Gemini now. So I'm going to put these in front of me just now. And then I'm going to run this through my folder. So if I bring in my folder, and I'm going to do it, of course, so the emboss is facing upwards, it's hitting upwards. So by coming along and popping that in, the thing with it being scattered dots design, you don't have to be exactly within the middle. You can pretty much put it at any point and you're still going to get a lovely impression. 2D folder, 2 cutting plates. But you know that I love to put in my metal shim as well. So let's put in our metal shim, and then we can then go across to the G2 and we can run that one through. We can let that do the embossing, and then as that one comes out, we're then going to bring and we're going to open that up. How fab is that? So we've got our scattered dots that we can see just here. So if I tilt that, you've got the scattered dots there, you've got that Sunbeam, you've got that shimmer ink pad, and then as I say, we don't need to worry about the middle because I am we'll end up covering that middle part. What I'm also then just going to do is, because my ink pad is still damp with colour or wet with colour, I'm just going to make sure I've got a lot of that excess colour off. Make sure that out of all the little scattered dots, because we will be using it again just shortly. So we've got our base layer now. So if I then take let's take a bit of the grey here. Let's bring in my guillotine. And because I've embossed that, I'm just going to check the size, because when you emboss, your cardstock can shrink, because that card that's getting into all those nooks and crannies of the scattered dots has to come from somewhere. So therefore, always double check your cardstock. Like so. So I do need to trim that bit again. No, we're okay there. So that's now just gone to under 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So let's go to just over 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, because I just want a little thin grey matte layer. So I just want it to be nice and thin and really, really subtle. Then let's do our main mattes and layers again as well. So If that was 5 1/4, let's do our yellow 6" by 6". So I've got a little bit of yellow all the way around. Yeah, happy with that spacing of yellow. And then let's take this remaining strip of grey, and what did I say I cut that to? I forgot already. 6 by 6. So let's do halfway between 6" and 6 1/4. So it's going to give me a nice thin grey matting layer. So happy with that. So that will then go into there. And then that, I'm going to trim my card blank, but then that will go into the card blank. So let's trim my card blank. Let's do 6 1/2 by 6 1/2. Bring that back in. I always give myself that white frame matting layer. You know that I like that look. So that can go into there. And then that can go into there. Perfect, happy with that. Let's move that out the way. Then I can move that out the way. And let's take my nesting dies from our layout collection. So I'm going to use probably the largest of the straight. So I'm going to die cut that. That can go onto a layer, yeah, that's cut with a nut. And then, yeah, I'm going to use that one. So that I'm going to cut into yellow and drop shadow with a grey. That layer can be white and we'll emboss it with the scattered dots. And then that layer can be a grey. Yep. Right, let's go for it. So, let's move that out the way. Let's take some white. This is just our white cardstock. Move that out the way. So we're going to use that one. And let's chop that. Then we will use that one. What I'll do is if I bring that, yeah, I'm going to, actually I won't do it underneath that grey layer, I'll do it with this layer. Let's gut the centre of that with our die. And then let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get all these ready to go. So let's take another bit of grey here, which then that can be cut. And then let's take another bit of the yellow, where that then can be cut. Like so. So that'll be that, and that'll be that. Let's also, let's just line them all up. So if I take, so that'll be grey, white on the top, that's on the top. So if I use these ones, so that can be grey, yellow, and then white. Grey, yellow, yep. And then we'll come back and do the smile. So grey and yellow. And then white. That's going to fit just like that. So we've got all of our layers ready to go. So I'm going to tape, and tape these ones. Take that one, and then I'm going to use, so we can do a few of them. Let's use our large plates. Now these simple dies, I know, do not need the magnetic shim. These do, because I used them a couple of weeks ago and I needed to put in the magnetic shim. So line up and then run through. As that's going through, I'm just going to take a drink. Okay. Didn't think that well, did I, by packing all them at the front? Right. So let's move all of these. So that layer can go back underneath there. That will go there. We'll have that onto there. Then that can go into the middle. Then that can go onto the top. And then that will go into there. Let's move these. Let's put that back now, because I won't need them, I don't think. So put them away and them away. I'll need to come back and emboss that in a minute. I'm just going to move them now because I don't need them. Let's go back to our junior plates. So we're going to go base plate, we're going to go shim, magnet, and then top plate. Once again, let's feed that through. That's going to cut out all the detail. The only thing with my set of dies for these, it cuts perfectly, but all the little bits stay in place. And I know you'd be saying, well, that's a good thing, Craig. It is, but they don't seem to release easier than the other ones. Like, even if I bang it on the back, they still don't pop out as easy. But we've got that perfect die cut that, as I said, you can come along and do all the ribbon threading if you want. Let's bring in my tool and get what we can out, and then the rest you're just going to have to bear with me while I pop them all out. But as I always say with my tutorials, what I do is what you see. I don't edit them, I don't bring in anything that I've pre-done. You know, there may be an exemption sometimes. Maybe something like an inky background or that I know that I'm going to do, but I need to use straight away. I might do it beforehand, so it's had time to dry. But other than a few exceptions, they are all done in real time. So work our way. You've got half ovals that you can always use. You've got tiny little love hearts as well. So yeah, I know they're tiny, but you might want to use them in some way. Right, there's that one, and then there's that one. So we can cut that once more into the grey. So let's move that out of the way, flip my tip plates, bring in my die, take that down, run through once again. Like so. So as that then goes through, and what we'll probably do is we will probably assemble all these base layers to start with, and then we'll come along and then we'll start to do the cutting from the flowers. So run my finger underneath there. Take that off. I don't need this one again, so I can pop all these bits out afterwards once we're finished. You don't need to see me doing that again. So we've then got our die cut. Now these are not symmetrical, and what I mean by that is depending on which way you do it, it doesn't always align. And there is one way where you do it where it all align. And I don't necessarily mean just all of that. I mean even these tiny little dots here. So if you're wanting it to align bang on, then get it the way that you want. And then what I'm going to do, just so that I know when I come to drop shadow, I know both of these with my pen mark is the top. So I don't need to keep chasing it. So let's bring that in, and that in. Let's bring our folder in once again. Close it over. Do our magnet. No, we're not. We're doing our metal. And then we're going to run through. So as that comes out, let's move that underneath, let's move that, don't need that. So as that then comes out, which I'll still, oh no, I'll use my mini next for the flowers. We've got our scatter dots when it comes to our circle die cut. I'm not doing any inking or anything like that, we're just going to leave them as they are. I'm going to get my flowers ready in front of me. All that can move out the way. Same with that. Let's take the smile, because we can cut that just shortly. I'm going to take that, put some bits and pieces. I've got a little black sponge mat, the one that I use for my flowers. You could use the opposite side of your stamping mat, but if you do use it in that way, then please do the opposite side of your stamping mat so it doesn't affect any future stamping. So we've got our layer that can then go into there, so that's just a perfect, absolutely perfect size. And that can then go into there. I am going to add height to this when it comes to foam pads, so, you know, shock horror. But you can keep it flat. You'll still get a lot of dimension flat, although the flowers will be in depth, because we'll shape them. Let's just show you how we're going to start to bring that together, and we're going to do a lovely array of flowers all the way round. So let's move that there, that there, that there, and then that there. Before we go any further, as always, let's do our insert. So, you know what I always say, my preference when it comes to mats and layers on an insert inside, use the darkest tone that you've used on the outside. So with that being grey. So what's the width of that? So it's like 5 1/4. So let's do 5 1/4. This is the first time that you're watching any of my tutorials here. When it comes to my mats and layers, or when it comes to my insert, I don't necessarily always have it right up to the edge. I mean, this is going to be like a little 5 by 5 insert, mat and layered insert. So the white smooth card is 5 by 5, and then my grey is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So move that out the way, and always do it so at least I've got a blank insert ready to go. I've still got my options. I can still come along and do things such as stamp my insert. I can still come along, print an insert and add that in with an additional mat and layer. I can still come along with a vellum insert if I wanted to and layer that inside. But it just means my blank insert is good to go. So as soon as I know who I'm going to be giving it to or what occasion, I can put the relevant insert inside. So let's take all of these off. Use your tape runner if you want, use your tacky glue. I'm going to be, as always, using my double-sided tape for my main layers. For the ribbon thread and dye and assembling the flowers, I'm going to use my tacky glue. And then to attach my flowers, I'm going to be using my silicone glue that I use, all of which from Sticks To. Of course, you may have our call-out glue, which is also does the job. So let's pop that into there. So there's my blank insert ready to go. So let's move that out the way and then let's come along with these layers. So this was the yellow linen texture card from the 12x12 pastel tone card bundle. My absolute favourite one, as you guys know. Love, love, love it. So let's just make sure I'm on the right side, because there is not necessarily a right and wrong side, but there is a little bit more of a texture on one side than there is on the other. So you just want to make sure that you've got the right side up, should you choose to want to have the right side up. And then let's go in. And at the moment I've not taken my centre little bit of tape off because that would just stick to my glass mat. So I'm going to hover before I commit to the stick. Now I'm going to take all these off, and that can go into my card blank, which is of course 6.5 by 6.5. Yes, it is. Add that into there, and then let's bring in this layer. So these layers I'm going to keep completely flat. I'm going to keep completely flat because we've also got the depth of the flowers, but also the ribbon threading layer I'm going to pop on foam pads. So for my square layers, I'm going to keep flat. So let's bring that layer back in. Remember, that was the Sunbeam from the Spring Fairy Trend Collections. So depending on when you are watching this video, this tutorial, it just launched on Crafters TV this current week. The date that I am filming this is Thursday the 8th. So if you are watching this weeks, months, years down the line, and you want to go all the way back and look back at old tutorials for that collection, then it was this previous week that it launched. So that can then also go straight into the middle. So let's do that. So let's take these off and pop that back into there. When I'm happy with that, press that in, and then let's come along with these layers here. So let's add these straight onto my grey scallop. If you want to add some ink, you can. Actually, I think I'm going to add a thin layer of foam pads to the back of that one. Let's get that the right way, Craig. And then once I'm happy, let's press that in. So that's that one. Let's bring in our foam pads so that they're ready. Let's take this and let's glue this together. I've not used this for over a week, so is this going to be dried out? Oh, no, we're good. We're all good. So go around with my tacky glue. So I want to make sure that I'm in all of these little bits. Into all of these as well. So I want to make sure that this layer onto the grey is well adhered with the glue. Remember, you've got things such as your double-sided adhesive sheets. You've got your dotty tape if you want to. But my preference for anything intricate or detailed, my preference is always the tacky glue. So let's work our way to the end. Dot, dot, dot. And let's just make sure I can get these lined up. And then drop shadow. Just a light drop shadow, nothing overly powering. Let's press that in. So press, press, press. Get me that excess glue off. Press that from the back. So that one will then go onto there, of course. So what depths have I got? I think that's about 4 mil. No, it's not, 3 mil. So if I do 3 mil onto there. Actually, before I attach that one, let's go for a 1 mil onto the back of this one. Because for something like anything where we've got height with floral or flowers or embellishments, I would, whoever I'm going to give it to, I would end up making a box for it. So therefore the additional height and depth for my foam pads, I'm not overly concerned. If I were wanting to put them into an envelope, then of course I would need to have and make my own envelope with that little bit extra depth to fit into place. There we go. But yeah, this would then go into a box. So let's press all these down and take them all off. We're going for, these are completely flat. This is 1 mil in height. And then that layer is 3 mil. But then it will also counterbalance the florals that you'll see just shortly. So let's take that, that, and that. What I'm going to do is, because till this is technically still wet, I'm just going to do a little scribble of tacky glue onto the back. Now if that was just plain card or that was completely dry, I wouldn't need to do that. But because it's still technically a bit wet, alternatively you can heat set it, of course, with your heat tool, or leave it longer to dry. Yep, happy with that. Press that in. That one, where did I work out was the top? That one. So that can then go into there. and press that in. So we're getting, yeah, that is straight. It's just from up above. It looks like there's a lot more of a gap there than there is there, but it's not. It's just the angle. So we've got that. So let's take now our layers. Let's take Smile. So the Smile, we're going to do yellow and grey, and we're going to do a drop shadow, of course. So let's take a bit of yellow. Let's take a bit of grey. Let's tape that and then run that through. I'm going to keep the mini out because I'm going to use the mini to do all my florals. You could add a little bit of mirror card to this, or a lot of mirror card if you wanted it to. Or you can of course change that colour to pinks and greys, or blacks if you wanted to, greens, or any colour, absolutely any colour. So let's pop that out, and then that out, and then there's our two Smiles. So I'm going to go in with the yellow to the top, and then put the grey as the drop shadow. I'm going to take some of that excess off the back of my hand, and then it's tiny. It's not impossible, but it's tiny, so we're just going to take just a little moment or two with our pokey tool and get that into place. And then there we go, we've got our Smile in the yellow with our grey drop shadow. So let's just put that straight onto my white layer. Just make sure I've got it right to the edge. And do the same. Let's just take some of that excess off, and then that Smile, I can then press into there, and then there we go. We've got our Smile. So that one, let's add flat. I'll add them all on flat. Just make sure, like so. Yep. Press that in. Add our glue onto the back of this one too, and add that in. There we go. Press that, and where's my bigger foam pads? No, that's not them. Let's drop everything, Craig. Let's go. So that can go onto the back. Add that there. Add that there. And then that one, just make sure tentfold card, as I always love, can go into there. Perfect. Happy with that. Love that one. Let me just bring it in that way for you to see, so you can see that. even though up above it looks like it's a little bit off, but it's not. It's central within the middle. And even just leaving it like that. Leaving it like that. If you choose to do ribbon threading, great. If you choose not to, absolutely fine. But it looks lovely. But we're going to keep on going. So let's bring in our Floral Creation dies. So these are launching, again, depending on when you're watching this. This is Thursday the 8th of February, so these are launching next week on Crafters TV and Hobbymaker. I've got the launch on Hobbymaker. I'm going to go in, I like that one, I've used that one the other day, so that complements it. I'm going to use that one as well for now. And then, yeah, let's leave it at that for now before we have a play. So if I do a large flower, two of the smaller ones, large one and two in the smaller ones, but each one I'm going to do 2 layers. So that's going to be 4. So I need 4 large and 8 of the small. Now I'm going to add shape to these ones, so I'm not bothered about the embossed detail fully coming through. Is that going to fit? Nope. So let's take some more card. Let's take that and that. Actually, I'll probably be able to get a couple off of that one, wouldn't I? Yeah. Let's pop them in. Better. Tape that down because my folder is getting well loved. So I need another 2 of that large one and another 6 of this smaller one. There's that one. Actually, I'll use that one later. Let's just do these all on the same sheet just now. Flip that over. I love an array of flower dies to decorate. I absolutely love these ones, these flowers, or this whole set. But you can, when I first seen them and seen we're bringing them out, it's like just a pack, I know you get the storage and you get your stamps as well, and you get the little chart to create different flowers, but overall I just thought, pack of flower dies, really? But oh my gosh, I think these are going to be well loved and used. So that's my larger ones done. So let me move that out the way just now and then continue with my smaller ones. And while I'm doing that, let's take, I did taking out the stamen. So for the stamens, I'm only going to put the stamens on the largest flower. I'm going to put something else from the pack onto the smaller flowers. I need another 4 of the flowers and just 2 of the stamens. So running that one through. Of course, you can still come along and you could add ink to these as well. Do distress work. I'm going to shape them slightly. Well, not slightly. I'm going to shape them, but I'm going to shape them like I shape my poinsettias. So if you know how, or remember how I shape my poinsettias, then that's what I'm going to do with the flowers. So let's take that out. So there's my 2 2 stamens, so I'd need another 2 more of my little flowers. Run that through. So pop that out there, and 1 more. So let's bring that in. Actually, I know what my way to cut next. I could have been doing that just now while I'm doing these, but hey-ho. Right, so that's all the flowers. So that's me done 4 large flowers and 8 small flowers, 2 stamens, and this little circle, there's 2 circle dies together. I'm going to do that, let's do that twice, so that's going to give me 4. So that's going to go into my 4 small flowers. And what have I done with my tool? And then I'm going to do it again in white, and that can go into the stamen of the large flowers. And I know this is so random stopping this here, but I've just noticed I haven't changed my friend's calendar. So I just thought I'll just do that there. There we go. Sorted. So there's them 2. And then I just need to cut this once. Give me 2 whites. And then that goes on. I might add some of the little leaf dye or foliage dyes, but for the time being, I'm just going to leave it and then come and add it, should I choose to do so. So I can move that, and that. So let's bring in my sponge mat. Let's bring in ball tool and another pokey tool. So my stamens, what I'm just going to do is just with my ball tool, go circular motions and shape. So if I do circular motions and shape, just so you can see there. So I'm just pressing in. So then what we've then got is that little curvature. If you hear that banging, by the way, that is my washing machine banging off the side of my counter. I need to try and move it to the left a little bit. So again, on the back of these ones, I'm flipping these over. So I'm doing them, flipping it over, and then on the back of it, I'm just doing circular motions just to create that roundness. I'm going to do it with all 4 of the grey and also the 2 white. So shape into there. This is just a really, really small ball tool. I think this is Hunky Dory ball tool because they've got really, really small ends on their ball tools. So there's that one. And then there's that one. So shaping my flowers. What I like to do is essentially I like to pinch down the middle there. So instead of pinching with my fingers, I just go in with my pokey tool and press down. Press down. Now you can shape them so that they've got curvature shape to them, but I like to go in and just do that little point that you can see here. If I come in a little bit closer, so you've got that point to them. So let's add that around, and I just do it with all of them. Like that, and then like that. If you want to enhance them by pinching, you can do, but I just leave them the way that the pokey tool does them. And I always just use an older pokey tool, because the more and more that you do this, the more and more it can slightly bend the pokey tool, which is fine, you're just going to twist the pokey tool round and do this in the other direction, so it kind of re-straightens it. But I don't like doing it with my new pokey tool. So that's them, and then we're going to do the same with the smaller ones. So we're just going to work our way around. I'm going to shape them all, and then we can glue them all at the same time. So I'm going to do 2 petals per flower head. There. Oh, I've gone off the screen there, Craig. Let's go up, move, move, and move. Let's bring all of these in. So press, press, just down the centre, or you can just freehand when it comes to pressing. You've got the option, or you don't have to do it at all, or you can shape them with the ball tools. So there's that. Into there. So yeah, if you do this mat that I use, it's kind of the same consistency of our stamping mat. So if you do use the stamping mat, kind of don't do it into the centre of the stamping mat, because then that can create indentations in your mat, and then therefore that's going to affect any future stamped impressions. So if you are going to use it, I sometimes use it if I don't have this with me. I'll always do it onto the back of the stamping mat and towards the bottom. So now we've got them shaped, so let's go in just with a little bit of glue, and we're going to offset it, and then we're going to press. We're going to press that in like so. I'll put the little centres in a moment. A little bit of glue. And press. Press and to hold. Just for a few seconds. Whether you're using Collall tacky glue or Sticks 2 glues, these don't need held in place long at all. Let's press that, and then our next one, bring that and press. Let's bring that in. There we go. Hold that in, and then we've just got the 2 of the largest flowers to do, flower heads. So let's move that. A little bit of glue, offset that, and press that. And once that's grabbed, we can do, actually while we're here, let's do the stamen. Let's bring in that stamen into there. And then this flower, and offset that, and press that for a second. Take a drink. And then we're going to add the stamen. Add that stamen in there for that to grab. And then while we're here, let's bring in my small foam pads. Actually, the small foam pad's going to be small enough. Oh yeah, just and no more. So for the centre of these ones, the grey stamens, I'm going to pop in this white circle die cut. And that one can go into there. Let's take that off, and then do the same into there. press that in. So we've got our two larger flowers. Now for these ones, I'm not putting the stamens in there. I'm just going to go direct in with a little circle grey cut. And then press that on. You could use your glue gel and your syringe if you want, or you can still use your tacky glue. Just need to put quite a little circular mound of tacky glue into the centre. And then last one. So there is that. So that's them. So if I bring this in, so before we commit to the stick, this is what I mean by the reason I wasn't doing the ribbon threading, is because a lot of that is going to be hidden. It's just for background detail that you can see there. I am then do I want to add, I'm actually reluctant to add any leaves or that. It would look nice and you can do, but I'm quite reluctant to do so. Let's have a look and see. Do I want that? No. Let's try this one. So we'll do it in white. Let's have a look and see what it's like in white. Let's run that through, even if it's just like little tuck-ins. Yeah. Yep, I'm going to use that as like little tuck-ins. Do I want that one or do I want one of the other ones? Actually, do you know what I will do? I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this one in white, but I'm going to snip them off. I'm going to do it in watercolour card as well, just to give it that little bit extra texture to the feel, to the touch. There we go. Yeah, I think it's just, well, it fits, but is it going to go through because of my dodgy folder? You wouldn't think that I've got like 3 packs in my drawer, would you? So let's manipulate that out like so. That would come out like a dream if I used a new folder. I'm just going to snap that one off and pop that bit out there. And these little bits, I'm just going to pop that out and then pop that out. Let's get rid of that. And let's get my scissors. Ah, yes, that's it. That's exactly what I'm wanting. So I do want that, and then that can tuck in there. So let's cut that again. This time though, I am just going to go into my G2 saves me, it saves me digging in the drawer for the folders. Because it's light and delicate, I'm going to add in my magnetic. So let's run that in. Feed that through. So yeah, I knew it needed something. I can see that die being a firm favourite of mine for using for tuck-ins. So let's take that one out. So again, let's snip that one off. And then let's snip that one off there. I might actually still use those little bits, I'll see. So that one, I'm going to tuck there. That was the one that I snipped, wasn't it? So let's snip that one. And then we're going to bring that in. I'll finalise it once I've glued it down. So let's have a look if I'm going to add. I might do that. And then that, yeah, I think 2 lots. It's going to look nice. Actually, I'm going to snip that down. Let me, again, we will finalise the positioning once I come along. I should really use my tweezers for this. You know where I'm going with that. We'll stick it down properly in a minute. Yeah, should have used, in case you wondered what I was doing there, I was just using obviously my scissors that you've seen, but I wasn't pressing hard, because if I pressed hard I was going to snip them off. So that one can go there, and then that one will go into there. Loving this. I'll probably do a few little gems or something. Right, here we go. So let's move all that up into there. Let's move that down into there. I think actually the largest one I'm going to add to a foam pad to elevate that little bit more. Again, all of the layers that I do on foam pads, adding height, I know obviously you know by now you don't have to do that. You know, I do it because I like doing it. And 9 times out of 10, I hand deliver my cards, or they go into a box or into a parcel that gets sent. So there's those 2 there. The remaining ones I am going to use my glue gel, my silicone glue. Where's my... So let's pop that into there and press in. And then going to bring that into there. And I'm going to bunch up just where the petals are kind of crossing over. Let's do the same within that one there. Bring that into there. And bring that into there. There we go. I have to admit, I really am loving how this is looking. So, tiny little bits of glue gel or silicone. Tuck that in there. And then tuck that in to there. And we've got that movability because I've of course used my glue gel or my silicone. Another one into there. Another one into there. Let's take pull, move, manipulate. There we go. And let's do the same down here. Let's bring that into there. There's that one. And then our next one. Like so. I'm going to tuck that into there. And that one I'm going to tuck underneath to there. So there really is a lot of depth to this one. A lot of depth, which I like. And last but by no means least, we're going to tuck that one into there. I can just flatten it if needed. So we're going for that look there. So I don't need this again, so let's move that. And let's take I've got grey. I'm not sure if you can hear my stomach rumbling. Let's look at all mine that I've got here. Is that grey? Here we go. Grey pearls. A rogue one that's just shot across there. And then I'm going to do 3 tiny ones. I'm going to do dot, dot, dot. Because these here I've got, I think they're about 1 mil, the smallest one. So I'm just going to add them in, and then I'm going to move them into place. So let's move that. Let's move it in. Like so. Yep. Put that in, and then let's do 1, 2, 3. And then I think this time I'll do the slightly larger ones that I've got. Let's do 1, 2, 3. Budge that down like so. Move that in. Turn that around. 1, 2, and then 3. So let's pop that on into there. 1, 2, 2, and then 3. Let's just punch that in like so. And then there we go. Loving that. Really, really happy with how that is. Really, really happy. And for that I would just make a box to fit a 6.5 by 6.5 card, and I'd probably do it so it's about an inch depth, inch and deep, because we've got a lot of height and thickness to it. There we are. So using old and new, new being the Sunbeam shimmer ink pad from Spring Fairy collection. Old being the folder from Sarah, old also being the ribbon thread and die, and then new being the Floral Creations dies that are launching next week on Crafters TV and Hobbymaker. That is the week after Thursday the 8th of February, depending on what time or date that you're watching this tutorial. So let's bring that back in that way for you to see just there. So 6.5 by 6.5 card blank, and then I used the pastel 12 by 12 that I love. So it's the mix of pastel and pearlescent card. I've used the pastel colours, but the mix of linen and pearlescent card. I've used the linen, and then used watercolour card to blend our Sunbeam over. And then our die cut layer, so our other new layer as well is the nesting circles from the layout collection. And then there we go. So I'll go pack up, and then let's bring that in there. So there we go. Smile, smile though your heart is breaking. All the yellows, all the yellows, all the greys, and all the whites as well. I hope you've enjoyed that one, and if you make exactly as I've done there, if you've changed it up or whatever, if you post them on social or in any of the groups or that, give me a tag. Always lovely to see. And if you have then enjoyed it, then give me that thumbs up. It would be most appreciative. If you haven't already, hit that bell as well to be notified whenever I upload any tutorials here to my Crafters Companion YouTube channel. And then hopefully if you're already here watching, you've subscribed. So if at least if you do anything, then at least subscribe. That's the main thing. That is the absolute main thing. Always lovely to be here, being able to then film these, to put these out, of course, able to do these in my own time when I'm nice and relaxed and chill and just joining the craft of crafting. Right, I will be back again very soon here on my Crafters Companion YouTube channel for another tutorial, but will it be old? Will it be new? Will it be in between? Who knows? We'll soon find out. But once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you again here on my channel. Bye.